Well, as promised, it's 2 weeks, and we're going to give you another tour of the Dunlap Garden. I think if one thing we're guilty of is trying to put too many vegetables in such a small space. We got a 21 by 24 foot garden, and the rain has been great. I think the fertilizer I used and the lime and the eggshells, you'll see eggshells for the tomatoes, has been great. So we have tomatoes now. I'm going to go ahead and give you a tour, and then I'll talk to you, explain something about these stakes I put up with my jalapeno peppers. Okay, let's go out to our garden. Alright, we're just going to pan back here and let you get the same shot you saw. And if you look at the first video we did 2 weeks ago, you'll probably notice that things are looking bushier. The green beans are growing. We have blooms on them now, so it shouldn't be long before we have green beans. My cousin Charles brought me some tomatoes that are called long keepers or long greenies, and I really didn't have room for them, but I thought I made room for them. There's supposed to be a variety of tomato that you can put up in a cellar somewhere and keep on up till November and December, and a fellow at work said he's had them up till January. I don't know, we'll see how they go. Now, if you notice the white stuff, that's eggshells. My cousin Ricky Hootie told me that eggshells contain calcium, so whenever he gets through with eggs, he just tosses them out in the garden, and that's what we're doing, and we'll work them into the soil later. We have four plants here, a cantaloupe, and I mean, good grief, they're growing all over the place. If we have as many cantaloupes as we do blooms on this stuff, we should have several cantaloupe. I mean, they're reaching over and climbing my vine here for my cherry tomatoes, and they're reaching over here across in my okra row. There's my okra, Donald. Yeah, I'm guilty of not getting the weeds out, but the okra seems to be doing really good, and the cantaloupe is just overflowing the rows into the cherry tomatoes and overflowing down here into the row with the okra and with the long greenies or long keeper tomatoes. Well, we'll see how it turns out. I mean, this I hope we have a lot of cantaloupe, because we sure do. It sure is consuming a lot of our little gardening space here. Here's our. I'm not sure that I don't like the look of these cucumbers. I need to do what my buddy Donald said, put some Miracle Grow in there. I've not done that. I need to run out and get some. But maybe it's not too bad. I think maybe this plant right here looks a little bit better than these other two here. We'll see. This is still kind of an experiment, you know. This is our row of cherry tomatoes, and we are beginning to get a few tomatoes on there. Plenty of blooms and tomatoes on the first plant up there. I believe this row was German Johnsons, and there's a few in there. Another row of German Johnsons, and let me get your opinion about this. I have all these lush green tomatoes plants doing good, and then I have this thing, and I don't know what's going on. It's like it's being attacked by something. The leaves are brown and curly. Its growth looks like it's stunted. I'm not sure what's going on. If you all have any idea of what's going on with this thing, maybe I just need to yank it out of the garden before it infects the rest of them. Let me know. You can go up to tobaccoroadpoet.com and click on the contact link and send me an email if you have any ideas what's going on with this plant. I'm beginning to think it's going to die on me. But now right beside of it and all around it, we have lush green tomato plants. You know, so far, whatever's going on is being contained to this one plant. Okay, this was the first tomatoes we noticed was on our Romas, and you can probably see there's some Roma tomatoes. They're green, but they will be red before long. And we have some tomatoes on this plant. And this was one of the plants that the gentleman from work gave me. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure what variety of tomato that is. Now tomatoes here. So I told you it wouldn't be long that we're having tomatoes. Hopefully not too long. Chili peppers are still looking good, and we have chilies. And we had a real bad storm the other day. It was, I think the weather people call it a straight line winds. And I was concerned that my jalapenos would, the next one that comes through would flatten them, because it flattened the green beans and the squash, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And I think the green beans are going to jump back, but I was concerned that wind would break my stalks or something, so I've staked those. The jalapenos with just a little old wooden stake and a little bit of jute twine, they call it. And the jalapenos look like they're really good. Well, again, I think one thing we're guilty of is trying to put too much garden in such a little space. The squash just expanded like crazy. And these were on this row over here were planted from seed. About May 2nd, I believe it was, and as you can see, it's growing like crazy. But the storm came through and bent several of the stalks. I don't know if you can see that. And you may see we have squash in here too. There's a small one. But it pretty much made it look like a bulldozer had come through, or a steamroller maybe. I think it's going to be okay. I think it'll spring back. But it really did a number on the squash. And we've already taken some of the bigger pieces of squash off. We've already had squash. We're already eating squash. So I had some with a cheeseburger last night. And Jane's over there saying it was good. It sure was. Now you can probably see this little spot right here that's kind of flattened, and that's because of the straight line winds we had last night. But our tomato plant's still in there and has some blooms on it. That's it. Not much to see, but it all is. It's definitely bigger. Adult beverage. Remember, y'all got to stay hydrated out there. Okay, we'll give you another tour in about 2 or 3 weeks. I want to remind you, and I don't know what the prices are in your neighborhood, but last year, tomatoes at the local Wally World, as we call it around here, it's $3 a pound, which is to me just outrageous. You can break up a little spot of land, plant you a few plants, and have fresh tomatoes at a lot cheaper price. I want y'all to head over to thebayougardener.com. My buddy Donald over there has lots of gardening tips. He's the one that really inspired me to start planting a few things. And he has a forum up there. There's a bunch of great people that hang out in there that can help you out if you're just new to gardening. We'll be back in 2 or 3 weeks, like I said. And until next time, lashpa lapata. Well, I guess around here we'd say, don't drop the tomatoes. Y'all take care.